Well, right now in DIY, there are some specific PCB designs that you just have to order the PCBs from JLPCB, and then batteries, and basically have a 3D printer or get the 3D prints of the cases that you want to use. And they're very easy to make now. Like, they used to be real tricky, and you have to clip a whole bunch of wires and wire together everything. And it was kind of really like.
Welcome to Metaverse Degen. I'm Lion.
I'm Old Man Raptor, and we have a guest that has returned with a certificate of it, and they are
Zrock35, and this is Rose.
Oh, well, hello, Rose, and welcome back, Zrock. It's good to have you back.
You no doubt, and welcome, Rose.
So, I guess just to kind of catch everybody up, we're still doing SlimeVR stuff. We just had a new server update, 0.14.1 just came out, and it's got some improvements that people are testing it out. And, there's a little bit of bug testing going on with it, but generally speaking, I'd say it's a really good update. Yeah, it's been fun. I've just been doing a lot of events. We just did a graffiti event yesterday. That was super cool. A lot of good art. Everybody gets together and has a good time. And yeah, other things. Let's see. Been a lot of calibration meetups. We've been kind of, I'm always teaching people how to use slimes, and Rose has helped me actually. We've set up her avatar with some alternate locations. So the back location, and then also the knees being slightly rotated, having the knee trackers on slightly rotated for thick thighs is a real good move. Yeah, it's been pretty good. One thing that's going to be coming up, and I can announce this, is I'll be doing a Virality presentation, an upcoming Virality, and yeah, me and Aramil and Butterscotch, we've done it before, but the last time we did it like before slimes had actually been shipping out. So it was like we just had slimes that we'd built ourselves, and we were like just went up and kind of talked about slimes. And now it's been like a while, and a lot of people have slimes now. So there's a lot more going on, a lot more people doing things with them, and it's neat. Like now, it's like I see like some of the people that they make content now. We had this one Ricky, actually. He's like a Spider-Man. He likes doing the Spider-Man stuff, Spider-Verse and all Spider-Man. And he just made a video that was like, he just sent it to me, and it was like he's web slinging around. It's all like good production, but it's in Vrchat, and it was like, and it looks really good with the full body. And so that gets me kind of excited. I like seeing people do stuff with this, that's like creative, it makes it fun.
Oh, so last time we talked to you, I'm not sure you're with Slime officially. I think you're just a person in the server doing stuff. Or have you always, how did you get involved with Slime, may I ask? Because yeah. How'd you get involved?
Yeah, so I've been volunteering, helping out with slime. I built my slimes before they were even opened the crowd supply for pre-orders. I already had a whole set of slimes, and a couple sets actually, that I had made myself. And so just by virtue of like helping people out and starting to throw events in the beginning, we didn't even know what we were doing really. These things don't come with instructions when they were first invented, kind of. So we had to like figure out, how did these work? And I kind of just got involved in it by beta testing and trying stuff. And my interest is, I want really good tracking. I want the good tracking, and like arm trackers, and I tried all that stuff back in the day. And so I kind of got known as like a beta tester for SlimeVR. And then just by doing the calibration meetups and like really just trying to build community, like get people to don't just like make slimes and then disappear forever. We kind of like, we got to know you while you were building them. So that was kind of how it started, because it was all DIY back in the beginning. We didn't really like just had to make them ourselves. We knew they worked and they were cool, but like you had to make them. And so that kind of built a little community just out of that. And now with like the official slime just selling all over the place, and DIY sellers selling all over the place, it's kind of like the community has expanded greatly. And yeah, it's pretty amazing. It's pretty amazing, actually. I never thought I'd get this far. But yeah, along the way, like SlimeVR got me on board because this is like what I like to do. This is what I do, and otherwise, like I guess I could go and do other things in life, but this is like what I like to do. So it's kind of a dream job for me. I like working, on this kind of stuff.
See, Rock, I got a question for you. When you
Yeah.
started doing the slimes and stuff like this, what you were talking about, and now where you're at now, has that taken any load off of the guy that actually started putting the slimes out there? Did that take any of the load off him? 50,000 questions. This ain't working for me. If being somewhat of what I call you as the ambassador of the slimes, and everything else like that. Did that take any weight off the creator of the slimes while
I'd
you're
like
not
to
on the?
hope so. I'd
Okay,
like to hope
okay.
so. This is the kind of thing where like having done it for years, kind of helps because I've seen a lot of things as time has gone on. I've seen a lot of the problems that have come up. I've worked them out, and sometimes like helping out Rose, it was like a matter of she comes to me and she's been spending many, many, many hours trying to figure out what was going on. And it turned out that actually her boobs were really large and they were moving the tracker that was on her chest. And so I kind of convinced her to put it on her back. And now she's been like totally like anytime this comes up, she's just like, oh, yeah, no. It's these. You got to put it on your back. And then, like 5 minutes later, they'll put it on their, they get it all set up and they put it on their back and like, yeah, it works good now. And it's like, so yeah, I get help too, and the community helps too. I always tell people, slimes help slimes. We help each other out. If you come to an event and you learn a bunch and you don't remember it all, you can always come back and ask me again. And I'm trying my best to like just teach what I know, because again, like it sometimes it helps to have videos, sometimes it helps to have text tutorials with pictures, but then sometimes it really just you need somebody to just kind of be there and just go, oh, I think I see what's going on here. And sometimes just being in the same avatar side by side, try this, try that, and then we see what the problem is, and it's like, oh, we can fix that. And for me, it's like I always get a kick out of when people finally get good tracking. Like not especially, but like if somebody's really been working on it on their own and they're just like, they're one of those people that just like, I just want to figure it out on my own. I don't want anybody to help me. I just want to figure it out on my own. And then after, whatever amount of time it is, 30 hours, 50 hours, 1,000 hours, they decide to come to check me out and be like, hey, I don't understand what's going on here. And then we fix it up fairly quickly. And then they're jumping around going, oh my God, this fixed everything. That feels good. It's like kind of and the people that show up early and come to the events before even getting slimes, oftentimes that really helps them because they'll just be like, as soon as they got the slimes, they kind of know what the drill is and they'll know they kind of know what to expect. A lot of times the event is just showing off what's possible with the trackers. So this is what we're expecting. And if it's not quite to that level, you have a little work to do. You got some homework. And a lot of times I'll just literally call it that. I'll just be like, okay, hey, you got to fix your play space, or you got to, get your trackers more secure to your body, get a GoPro chest harness or something like that just like fixes whatever the problems are. And then come back next time and, we'll see if it looks better. A lot of times it does. And then there's always fighting with SteamVR updates and VRChat updates and virtual desktop updates and MetaQuest updates and SlimeVR updates, and then all that combines together into a big old gloppy VR, whatever that is, that needs an update. So as we all know, get into, and then Quest Pro controllers. Like, I just got Quest Pro controllers because I wanted to be able to put my hands behind my head and be able to not have the occlusion of normal, Quest 3 controllers. But I do have arm trackers on right now, and they're kind of cool. I kind of like them. I got back into them. It's been a minute.
Oh, so
But yeah.
What has been some of the more common issues people have with the slimes that go to the meets that you run so much?
Usually, well, this is the funny thing is I've put out a calibration guide like almost a year ago, and that calibration guide it's good and dated now. Calibrating guides and tutorials on the internet. Good luck letting especially something like this that's open source. It's managed to kind of hold up till now. I am working on a new one, but one of the funny things is people come in and they'll say to me, they'll be like, hey, I've watched your guide like 10 times. I watched it like right before I came to the event, and like my tracking's still weird. And I'm like, okay, so you might have watched it like 10 or 20 times, but did you follow it? That's the important part. Did you follow it? And it's not to be offensive, but just to like, sometimes people skip through stuff and they kind of just get the gist of it, but they don't actually check all the boxes and do all the things how they're supposed to do. So usually I'd say, to answer the question, is it's usually just settings. People come in and they'll have like Vrchat wingspan set instead of height. And Slime uses the height settings, and so it passes through height. And so if you have it set on wingspan in Vrchat, it'll send through the arm lengths and stuff, but it won't be accurate for the body. And I've had people come in with that, and it's a simple fix. It's just a toggle, but like one toggle not being right, sometimes it can be the difference between good tracking and bad tracking. The other most common issue I'd say is play spaces being not set so the floor is the floor. It sometimes gets set below the floor or above, and either or, it has to be accurate. So that's actually something that got addressed recently in the new update, the 0.14.1 update. It's got what's called it's the mounting. It's a height config. So height config got put in order to kind of bypass or compensate for headsets not showing the correct height or being a little bit off or things like that. And it kind of just does sort of that. It verifies that your headset is this high and verify the floor is that low, and then you're kind of in the middle, and then it assigns everything to that. And it's been working pretty well. So it's made Slime a lot simpler for setup, which is really nice. And I'm actually, there's a little one that I'm working on. There's a beta test right now that I just got yesterday. I was testing it, and it actually tells you what Vrchat settings are correct or incorrect, like how to fix them. It just has, like it says, it tells you some Vrchat configs are not set right, and it tells you which ones they are, and then you just go in and you got to find them and fix them up. But once you fix them, that'll be a great update. Hopefully that'll be in the very next update that's coming out. They were just talking about it today.
Oh,
but yeah, just it's always a process of improvement. Yeah, I like the improvement of it, and that's kind of what keeps me going with it. Is I like to have better tracking. I think everybody wants better tracking, and Slime's low cost, so kind of all about it.
So Zrock, is there anything with the deal with Slimes having a issue of between hot and cold?
So yeah, this is an interesting one, and an interesting side of it is some of these slimes, the newer DIY ones, they were including temperature data. So like in the SlimeVR server, you could see how hot your slime was on the DIY ones. And now on the official trackers, I've just been testing some firmware that shows the temperature of each of the official slimes. So I actually have it on right now. And interestingly enough, to answer the question, is yes, it totally does. Temperature does play a role in the sensors when they first calibrate. Say you have a cold environment, you're in a colder area, and you put your trackers on, you turn them all on, they'll calibrate to that cold temperature. And that cold temperature versus the heat from your body can cause a lot of drift. So what I usually recommend is after you've placed them on the table, you let them calibrate, you put them on your body, and then you wear them for about 15-20 minutes and let them accumulate the temperature to where they're actually the temperature around what your body temp is. And then what you do is, if you notice any extreme drift, you're drifting this way or you're drifting that way, you take it off and you just put it down and you let it recalibrate itself. You don't need to turn it off, you just let it recalibrate. And I like to always say, let it think about what it's done. And then when after like 10-15 seconds, you take the tracker and you put it right back on your body, and you might just do your resets just to line everything up again. And after that, you'll get way better drift performance. We found this out about maybe a year ago or something, but we didn't have the actual temperatures showing the differences. And now I've seen it, and it's pretty cool. It's you can see the actual temperature change over time, and it's definitely a new little bit of the piece of the puzzle towards getting that good tracking.
Gotcha.
Okay. A question I have is, you mentioned an update. What's coming in the update for that's just come out?
Well, the upcoming update will have that Vrchat config stuff, I'm hoping. There is another beta server, which I don't know if this is going to be included, probably not in the next version because it's still undergoing a lot of beta testing, but it's called Stay Aligned and by Jabberwocky. And Stay Aligned is a whole way of doing the, basically it's a whole nother beta test server that uses the headset to like nudge the tracker's drift back into place where it should be. And so it's a little bit of a setup. You have to do some certain moves to get, everything calibrated correctly. And it's it's a little bit of extra, but then beyond that, you get like almost no drift. So that's another really good improvement. That's available to test. People can test it right now. I'm probably going to test it later on. Right now, I've just been kind of working on the main version of the server. But yeah, once that comes out, Stay Aligned will hopefully be soon to be included.
Ooh.
And that'll be a big difference. One thing I could mention, I'll just throw this out there, is recently me and my band, the RG Beans with Fern, we actually did a performance. It was very fun. We did a whole bunch of Zardonic and kind of just danced around, had a whole bunch of fun up on stage, and it was a pretty kick-ass concert. We had a good time. It was really fun. So things I've been up to.
Oh wow! So you've been up to a whole lot since we last saw you, or last saw
Always
you in the
busy.
show. Always busy.
Mm-hmm.
I can tell.
You keep life interesting. Stay curious. That's really the philosophy. It's like, I like just doing stuff and getting out there and learning from people and networking and, finding, like, hanging out with you. It's like, it's fun because we always talk about this kind of stuff and we're always on the forefront of, you're talking with people and Raptor's talking with people and Rose is all talking, everybody's talking, and we get all this stuff. Well, Rose is like, what? But yeah, so that's basically it. It's keeping busy, having fun, hanging out with Fern a lot, and it's a good sort of pattern. I help out as much as I can, and people appreciate it. It's what I do.
So between when you first met you, it was a year, 2 years ago. But now, what have been some moments that have stuck with you or events that have happened between now and then?
Moments that have happened. Let's see. So peak moments, I would say, strangely enough, just getting. I work on my avatar a lot. And I'll just be honest, as I spend probably a lot of time in Blender just fiddling with it and adding and messing with it and weight painting and all that fun stuff. And all the avatar creators out there, you know what I'm talking about. Just getting into VR and having the avatar work correctly sometimes is the biggest high. It's just like getting it working right. Because, in full body, there's something about when you get in full body, you can easily see clipping issues. You can see all the stuff that, you can't see without having full body tracking. And so a lot of times, as an avatar maker, avatar editor, I've been learning a lot. And the people around me, Fern and even Rose now has been picking it up. And we learn from each other's workflows. And that's kind of a fun thing. Like peak moment, well, it's funny to call like getting an avatar uploaded and having it work correctly a peak moment, but that's kind of this game. Like, it's the character creator, you know what I mean? Like, you get to create your character and then get to be in it and have fun with it. And so
oh my god. Jesus Christ.
We have fun.
Boy.
Oh.
Is that another way of sticking your nose where it shouldn't be? Too long for the adjuster of where it's supposed to be. Gotcha. I understand.
Careful with that. You could poke an eye out. Ow.
It's just better to sniff you, Zrock, and see where you've been. God.
Yeah,
He's found somebody that is as ornery as he is. That's the scary part. Way
like,
to
why you
go.
like me? And I'm like, I don't know. Like, I'm so weird. And I'm like, I'm weird. Hi, weird. Meet weird.
Yeah. Didn't you and the Archie Beans have a big concert recently as well?
Yeah. I was mentioning that earlier. So yeah, what we do is we basically get up on stage. It's a custom stage. It has all lasers and flames and background visuals. And then me and the band, we kind of get together. We do a bunch of practices to kind of get the timings down of everything. And then we just dance and kind of perform to a mix of music. And just throw a lot of energy into it, and just kind of go out there and kick some ass. And we make an entertainment. It's kind of entertaining, and we find it. People like it, and it gives people something to do, and it's like a whole concert experience in VR. So you get to feel like you went to something, and you come out of it, and you're just like, wow, that was something I would have never seen in real life. Like somebody's like a whole band, everybody just like doing their thing, like. So one of the things is I have this prop here, the Z-Tar. So this thing, it's kind of put together so it can rotate around. You can just get down in there and just, and like have fun with it. And then, but usually I don't do the Z-Tar. I'm usually doing the mic, and I'm just out there just like, yeah, let's go, like. Actually clear out a whole play space and have like a good 40 feet to run around on, and it's pretty fun. But again, full body shenanigans.
Z-Rock, I'm just curious. I've been to a couple of your practice performances, and I have to ask this: how many breaks did it finally get where you could actually go through the whole concert when the concert come through? Because you disappeared when I was there one time about 4 times, going, and don't get me wrong.
Oh yeah,
where you live, I can understand why.
Yeah,
but, yeah. I'll be right back. He told Fern, "I'll be right back. I need goddamn water. I'm sweating like a pig."
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Off you went.
So to answer, so like the practices, I go as hard as I can and kind of just like, I give myself breaks, but it does take a kind of a conditioning to be ready for the concert itself, because in the concert, there are only 2 parts where I'm allowed a break, where there's one song where I'm allowed to fully go off and I can take a break like that. And then there's another, I'd say 1 or 2 songs that Fern will have, and Fern will be doing lead vocals, quote unquote, and I'll be on the side just doing guitar, kind of chilling, or just kind of jamming it out kind of thing, but like not like jumping around and running around pacing the stage and doing stuff. So yeah, like it cuts down from like the 4 breaks that you mentioned to like 2, and then that's what I get. And
okay.
it's exhausting, it's like a full, it takes, it's a full sweat bath. It's complete, like it's intense. It's very intense, but yeah, it's fun. It's very fun.
As long as you're having fun, that's all that matters.
I can imagine what his slimes were like on his body if he was sweating that bad. Those poor bastards probably didn't want to stay where they were supposed to.
Honestly, that is a consideration. With a lot of sweat, slimes, if you have them on in places that are going to get sweat on, you kind of have to take proactive measures about that, and like maybe like give them extra padding or something like that that'll help, prevent stray droplets from hitting and going inside, because that could short them out. So yeah, I made custom stuff for mine, so I don't worry about that. But that is a concern. If you're going to get really extra sweaty in VR, you might want to consider that.
I could see Z-Rock putting umbrellas and baggies on his setup, trying to make sure the droplets don't fall on him. Hey, Mom, don't throw those small umbrellas out of the glass away. They work real good on my fucking gear. Yeah, I could
just
see
pour
that.
out the slimes at the end. But that's honestly, that's why.
Okay. Yeah,
That's why
that'd
I
be
need
fun.
those 2 breaks is like honestly because sweating so much in the headset, I have to take the headset off and like wipe it out and like pour it out. I like to joke about it, like pour it out, reclaim your electrolytes, but don't.
Just the thought of drinking sweat sounds disgusting.
Oh, God, thanks. I need to
It's like
have that
drinking
vision
warm
in my
ocean
head.
water, and it doesn't sound good.
No.
Wait a minute. That's not what I thought you were going to go say with it. It's not ocean water. It's okay. It's just warm piss out of the pool. Somebody pissed in and it's just flavored milk because it's got the color
I
code.
kind of prefer
That-
ocean water.
No.
yeah.
That's
okay.
where the
yeah,
that's where the fish pee though.
That's what I
You're
was
not
getting
wrong.
at. That's what I'm going. Oh, that's even worse than mine. That's what I was getting at. That's worse than somebody peeing in a pool. My God,
All the
Ryan.
fish pee. All of them.
Yeah,
Billions
all of them.
Including the whales.
No. Yeah,
Oh yeah. Can't forget the whales.
Yeah, can't forget the whales. Yeah.
Now that you're mentioning sweat and temperature, I do have an interesting question on the whole slime thing. What about the temperature makes them drift and move?
Well, when it does its initial calibration, the sensors kind of lock in on whatever the temperature is at that time. And then as it heats up, there will be an expansion of the silicon. And that expansion will, it'll kind of change the result. And so by having the renewed, change the temperature and it gets to the body temperature and letting it recalibrate, it's changing to match what the, silicon is at registering. And so that, kind of adds in. I mean, I'm not a techie. I can't tell you all the math behind it, but basically it works. And it's funny because we found out about it before we ever had the temp stuff. We learned about it just by experimentation. It was like, oh, you're in Canada. Butterscotch was testing it and found, oh, it's I put it down, turned it on, I put it back on the body, and then there's a difference of the drift is stronger. And since I'm in Hawaii, I don't have as big of a temperature differential. So like, if I just turn them on and I put them on, it's not that huge of a difference. And I didn't really notice too much of a difference, maybe a little slight difference, but not too much. So I actually ended up waiting and going at night and turning on my slimes at night, and the cold air rolls down the mountain here. So temperature is like way different than normal daylight, and tried it out. And then sure enough, I was like, oh, wow, it actually stopped the drift like immensely. Like it really, incredibly slowed down the drift just by doing it the way, putting it on the body and then letting it recalibrate by taking it off and resetting it. So yeah, it's little things like that. Like I didn't know that a couple years ago. No idea. It was like, well, there's no temperature, and it would never even came up. So as we learn more about these devices, the more we're actually able to kind of like use them at their best capacity. Use them where they're supposed to be, their potential.
No.
Zrock, I got another.
Yeah.
I got another one. Sorry, Line. Didn't mean to interrupt. Finding out, I've had a lot of people ask me the same question: how long do they last? And your guinea pig over here, Rose, gave out the example because I asked it how long. How long does the slime last? And if you've got full body, how long does it hold up in playtime? Because I get a lot of people asking the same question.
So generally speaking, they last about 12 to 13 hours per charge, and each charge takes about an hour and a half to 2 hours. So from dead empty, and you charge it up over 2 hours, and it says it's fully charged, you could put it back on and run it for like 12, 13 hours non-stop.
Okay, now another question. Another way, with those slimes, is there a way to add another battery setup so you can go long? I don't know who would be in here for longer than 12 hours. That's a lot of playtime. Just asking.
Well,
okay, sorry, Rose. Sorry, Rose. Okay, you're in here more than 12 hours. Okay, but can you actually hook up a battery system to run them all at one time to hold up a longer than a 12-hour period?
Well, DIY style, people have definitely done this. There's 18650 batteries, which are kind of chonky. They look like double A's, but they're bigger and fatter than double A's. And those are removable. They're just, they look like double A's basically, but big. And there's other smaller types like that too. They're rechargeables. And people have made designs that incorporate those so they could just pop out batteries, pop in other batteries, and keep rolling. But yeah, I would say most people that do VR usually go about, like long sessions can go up to maybe 8 hours or something like that. I'd estimate maybe, but like, usually it seems like it's enough. For me personally, I got multiple sets. So if I run out of battery on one set, I just throw on another set and put the originals on charge and just keep going. But that's, again, extra set, enough slimes to do that. The other way that you might be able to do it is people have done one battery pack slimes where it connects to all the slimes via wires and then recharge, it's constantly going from the one battery pack. And I don't personally care for that so much because I don't want to have wires on my body. I like having the freedom of no wires. Big fan of no wires. So that's not a really option for me, but I know people have done that and gotten really long battery life. And another option is there's a new thing that's been in development and it's being worked on. And it's called small slimes. And this is NRF technology. It's a different chipset. It's different, it's got the same type of IMUs, not like IMUs like what the officials use, but good IMUs that are the rotation sensors. And they're real, they're quality and they're fairly simple. They just basically, the NRF chip, NRF board, a battery, and the IMU sensor, and those are extremely, extremely power efficient. So when I say extremely, I'm talking like a tiny 100 milliamp hour battery can last a month of daily Vrchat use.
Holy shit!
Before it needs getting recharged.
That's
so
impressive.
It's way beyond the current stuff of anybody. The reason I can do that, it's kind of like Bluetooth. It's a low energy protocol and it doesn't use much transmit or receive. It's very just low energy requirements compared to the normal slimes, which, they have their power requirements and they do their thing. Another cool thing about small slimes is instead of just hooking up each tracker to the Wi-Fi, it's going to have like a dongle. So you plug in the dongle, you connect your slimes to that, and it's just easy instead of any networking issues and hooking up to your network and all that stuff. It'll be just way more plug and play, which I think everybody likes.
Oh, wow. And
Wow.
Are small slimes available now or they'll be available eventually?
They'll be available eventually. There's a development process going on. I do know of DIY sellers that are gearing up to sell those that have made them, so they will be available at least in the DIY market. And I've been working on a set myself. I haven't finished it. I started it a while back and I just never quite finished it. There's a little bit of firmware stuff I need to do, but I made ones that were as small as extension trackers. Like the little tiny extension trackers. I made my small slimes that small and with the same specs I just mentioned. So like, yeah, I'm looking forward to finishing those and seeing how they go. But yeah, other than that, there are plenty of designs available in the Slime Discord. You can actually go and make your own small slimes by ordering the parts and soldering them together and flashing the firmware. But yeah, like as far as officially, there's nothing yet. But, things are happening.
So, as a more of a fun question for you as well, what have been some interesting setups people have used to create their own slimes you've seen come across your community meetups?
Setups? Like, how do you mean? Like just things they've
building
used?
them themselves, how they've built them maybe differently than how you normally or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen people use odd setups overall, like using Joy-Cons that can be used as slimes, using Joy-Cons plus a phone that had OO track on it to act like a slime, plus Vives for their feet, then using Standable on top of that, and like it was pretty cursed. But they kind of almost made it work. But yes, people try the wildest things to try and get full body, just to try and get something. A lot of times, like the DIY people, I mean, there's a few cool features. One of them, like Gorbit Slimes, has the push button feature where it's got, instead of a little switch, a physical switch, it's got a push button, and that's a nice feature. You know, it's kind of snazzy. I like those. Um, but let's see other ones, things DIY sellers have done. I mean, on my side, I've mostly focused on like straps and trying to get the straps to be really good because that has more than anything else. Like the designs are kind of, you know, they're all basically rounded boxes with little strap loops on them. I mean, that's pretty much what they all are. And then the straps are really where it comes down to, you know, if you have good strap game and you've really worked on your straps a whole lot, that can do more for your tracking than anything else. Like just hands down, like just improving the straps. I have actually done some things where, like, on my ankle trackers, I've put some fake fur on the inside lining, and that made my ankle tracker strap and all that feel really comfortable. So, like, I can sit in this position here and not feel like that, ow, like there's a tracker digging in on the side of my ankle. Things like that. Just, you know, you find a little issue and you fix it.
Okay.
Rose, do you have something to say, or are you just flopping your arm like a dead chicken?
I think it's the Quest Pro controller just doing its own thing.
Okay.
Yeah, they're like that sometimes.
Okay. What kind of materials work best for like making our straps and stuff, mask?
So straps, usually you can just get straps from either SlimeVR company or other people are selling DIY versions of it, but the typical what we look for in straps now is sturdy, like it has double stitching on the ends so the end pieces don't rip off. We also look for silicone backing on the inside. Unfortunately, that will wear out at a certain point. No matter what you do, the silicone backing will wear out, but you can replace it, you know, and just put your own silicone on there. And the silicone prevents the slimes from like sliding around on your body. So, you know, given the choice between a strap that doesn't have the silicone backing and one that does, definitely go for the silicone backed ones. Another, I guess it's not exactly strap related, but clips. Getting clips to put onto your strap. So instead of, like, you know, having to deal with Velcro, looping through Velcro and trying to find the right distance and everything, you can have it all preset and just clips on. And then you got your slime, you know, you can put on slimes really quick then. That's another thing I teach at the events, just like make life easy for yourself. You know, some people be like, it takes me like 15, 20 minutes, a half an hour to put on all my slimes, and I don't even want to put them on sometimes, it takes me too long. And I'm like, it takes me 1 minute flat to put on 10 slimes with clips. And I'm not even rushing. I'm just clipping them on. I'm just picking one up and clipping it, and then pick the next one, clip it, and then the next one, clip it, and then 10 slimes are on in under a minute. So yeah, I always kind of make life easy for yourself. If you're going to use slimes every day, it really helps to kind of front load what you're doing and make it better. So yeah, that's kind of what I also advise. I tell Slime, you know, I've actually tested some of the clips, and I advise them, like, this is the clip I think works the best. And I'm always working on, like, was working on some shoulder tracking stuff that I think might work really well with off-the-shelf shoulder pad type dealies. And I'll kind of show that. I'm going to show that in the upcoming video, because I still got to mock it up perfect, but you know, it's getting there. It's very close. But shoulder tracking is something that not a lot of people have done a lot in, and so I kind of feel like it's something I want to do a little more in, and try and get that out there.
Okay.
But yeah.
Oh.
Yeah,
I got a question. I asked Fern, and I've asked you the same question. Does taking, instead of sliding your slimes through your loops and stuff like this, is it possible to use magnets and a piece of steel, knowing that the slime itself is in plastic, knowing its plastics is an insulator? Can you use magnetics that are strong enough, and you can get them because I know they're out there, to actually make them where they would clip? What I'm getting at is
Hello, I'm actually here to interrupt the episode you're watching really quick to ask you a favor. Please come join us at any of the other locations we have. You can find us on YouTube and Spotify, both of which we post our episodes and are very up to date on both. We have Discord where you go to hang out all the time, where you're gaming and shooting the breeze over with many people over that way. Feel free to come join us. I invite you. If you wish to support us, we have a Patreon where we post a bunch of random bits, bobs, and extra podcasts every once in a while for you to go enjoy. Also, if you wish to support us while in Vrchat, we're now part of the creator economy. So please come join if you wish to support us there. It's there for you to choose if you so wish. And thank you very much. And a special thanks to some of the people who have signed up on our Patreon, which are as follows. And I have written down so I'll remember. And that's a tough thing. Forbidden Zero, Niche, Aliquum, Future Oracle, Lesser Capybara, and Frozen. Thank you all very much. Enjoy the rest of the episode.
You could. I think there have been people that have done that. It kind of, if using magnets is where you're going with it, that's cool, but there are a lot of other ways that just use clips that just make it clip on, clip off, and it's very, very, it's not dependent on the magnets themselves to suck them in, kind of. It's more just like clip. So I'd say it's probably lesser used. I wouldn't say a lot of people try for that, but it's something. Again, DIY is all about, like, if you want that and you want to customize it for that. First off, I would say is if you have that kind of ideas, look and see what other people have done before you, and combing through the DIY channel or doing a search and just magnetic slimes, and like looking up different designs and maybe pinging the people that have made a design that looks good to you. Because people are helpful. They often, it's like they'll like that you picked up on what they were putting down, oh, you want to do it too, cool, here's the files, here's what you need to do, here's the link I have for the magnets I used and things like that. So I always feel like it's just kind of like you just got to get out there and network with people and then decide what you want for your slimes. I personally recommend trying to make slimes that are flat instead of bulbous, tall slimes. You want to have flat slimes because those fit under clothing a lot better, and just in general, just feel more comfortable.
Okay.
Yeah, I've got lots of opinions on that stuff.
So, if someone's DIYing, what are some of the best shapes, sizes, and ways to build the slimes do you think that work best?
Well, right now in DIY, there are some specific PCB designs that you just have to order the PCBs from JLPCB, and then batteries, and basically have a 3D printer or get the 3D prints of the cases that you want to use. And they're very easy to make now. Like, they used to be real tricky, and you have to clip a whole bunch of wires and wire together everything. And it was kind of really like a little beyond maybe the novice electronics person. It was a good first project, but also a little bit frustrating for somebody who's never touched electronics before in their life, never soldered, never anything. Whereas now, with that, ordering the PCBs and doing that kind of stuff, you can pretty much just put a whole set together in like an afternoon now, after you've gotten all the parts together. And it's literally just soldering a couple of battery terminals onto each one, and then putting them together and putting my strap on and call it a day. It's good. So yeah, for now, it's like I'd say anybody going in to do DIY slimes now has a huge leg up on what it used to be, because now it's just easy. Yeah.
Okay. Now I'll ask something else about something I believe we talked about like off air a while ago, like a month or so ago. Did Slime do like a collaboration event of sorts?
Oh yeah, they did. So that was a collaboration between SlimeVR, TubeVR, and what was it? Trans Academy. And so they basically did a kind of a charity event type of thing, and it had a whole bunch of music, and kind of everybody showed up. We got to see. I personally got to see Fia twice, and Tavo showed up as well, so it was good to see them all again. I hadn't met twice before, but I already knew Fia and Tavo, so that was nice to catch up with them and see them again. But yeah, that was a fun event. We danced, and the slime crew, a lot of the slime crew showed up, including Aaron, actually, who founded SlimeVR. They showed up and danced, and yeah, a good time was had by all. It was pretty fun. We actually there was a little video. I can even I could probably send you a clip of it, that Fia and Twice did a little like battle like they little, they were fighting it out kind of thing. And I took a little footage, a little montage of them going around, and I put like the Mortal Kombat, Mortal Kombat to the background music. And so they kind of duked it out on it. It was cute. I sent it to Fia, and it was fun. But yeah, that kind of stuff is definitely what I like promoting and doing, and I'm all about it. It's really an entertaining community.
So what type of events do you do with the Slime Community Mask?
So it's a varied kind of thing. I try and keep it a little bit fresh, but a little bit familiar. So every Friday I do calibration meetups, or as I also call it, tech support and chat, or calibrate and chat meetups. They're about the same difference. The calibrate and chat is specifically, I go through the entire SlimeVR server and kind of describe everything I know about it and all the tips that I can think of that I can remember at the time, which I've pretty much remembered them all. And then the tech support and chats are a little more casual. I sometimes cover stuff that's in the server, but it's mostly like just people coming in and asking like, how do I fix this? And I kind of give them that heads up, like, this is what you do here. Okay, that's, we're working on that over there. And we just kind of take questions and keep it kind of open, informal. But those are the technical support events, and sometimes I throw random ones of those into the week when I feel like I have the energy for them. It's a little intense, when you get 20 people there and half of them need tech support help, you're on the hook. You try and help your best, but sometimes you get it and sometimes you don't. But like I have a pretty good success ratio. Then I'd also do Yoga Mondays. And yoga is just, I like doing yoga because it's just good for you and it keeps your body moving, and you get your energy flow right, and people have fun at it too. It's kind of fun yoga. We go in and we just goof off, we talk a little bit, we kind of it's a very community kind of oriented feeling of everybody gets to show up and look cute in their avatars and stretch and do the stuff and and all that stuff, and it's fun, like we just have a good time. And then we got graffiti events. I mentioned that earlier, where people get to show off their artistic talents. And that's really cool because the graffiti world that we use is actually made by one of our moderators at SlimeVR, Damaged Uwu. And they make a whole bunch of different kinds of worlds, but that was specifically one of them that I was like, they were asking like, what world should I do? I'm like, please make a good graffiti world. And then they proceeded to make it, and then I've had input customizing, and just get it a little bit tweaked, and give them feedback on when I do events there and like what's working and what's not, and so it's like a neat back and forth where I get to have the world that I want, but also like I don't have to make it, but like somebody who makes it that's really good at it is like available for me to feedback to. Let's see, then we have game events. Sometimes on the weekends randomly we'll play like mini golf, the whatever, Magic Arena, so that kind of stuff, just run around, goof off, the what is it, meat grinder.
Meat grinder. The old famous meat grinder.
The minefield world. If you've ever taken you there, the minefield world, that one's fun. But we just goof off. We have we have a good time in those worlds, and the game events are really fun. And then let's see what else ones that we've done. We've had fashion show kind of events where avatar makers get to show off their avatars and kind of do some poses. We've had photography events where we teach how to use the camera in VRChat and like take good pictures and get some lineup shots and that kind of thing. Let's see what else we've done. Parties, just general hangout and chats are normal. We do those just to vibe. And trying to think if there's dance, of course. We do dance now and again. Sometimes we go to the Just Dance world. Other times we've had what are called dance ciphers, and you make a circle of people, and then people go in and they freestyle and they just show off some moves, and it's kind of fun like that. People get to kind of be the center of attention. And then, of course, the Archie Beans shows, those are special events. We practice for those, and those are kind of a build-up. And we do those like maybe every couple months, few months, something like that, when the timing is right. Special events. I don't know about there's any other ones that we really do currently that, there have been ones in the past that we tried that didn't work out for whatever reason. So one of those, for instance, is weightlifting in VR. Pumping that iron. Do you even lift, bro? And well, nobody lifts apparently. Nobody showed up. Apparently, sweating and getting all like working out in VR is not exactly what like people like want to do. Maybe I'm wrong about that. I'm sure there's some workout worlds and people work out in VR, but like we didn't get much result from that one, unfortunately. We've had martial arts warm-ups. That's a fun one. And that one is like, we got this video that shows this guy doing a martial arts warm-up, and it's great because it starts off really easy going. And everybody's like, yeah, this is fun, this is fun. And then by like 10, 15 minutes in, you're like, this guy does not run out of energy. He is just going. And then like by 20 minutes in, you know, like it's intense. So like by the end, no one has survived the warm-up. It's just a warm-up. You know, and everybody's inside, no, I can't. No, I'm not doing this jumping up, jumping jacks, push-ups with a jumping jack on top of it. You know, like everything. No, I'm good. Yeah, we goof off a lot. World hopping is another fun one. It's just going to different worlds and just kind of exploring. And one thing I've found out when taking a large group on world explorations is if you go to a large world, everybody just scatters, like right out the gate. You'll be like, okay, everybody, welcome to the, oh, they're all gone already. Where did everybody go? Okay. And then it's almost impossible to get everybody back together and like go to the next world. So sometimes I keep it to small or mid worlds rather than like the large giant worlds where everybody runs away and does their own thing.
You know, I do have another question for you.
Mhm.
What would be the importance of running community events like that with a group like Slime?
Well, I feel like the first step of Slime is really learning how to use it and being in a comfortable environment with people that know how to use it. And I think that's one of the things that kind of this provides that landing place for people that just got their slimes and they need to learn how to use them. Even coming to one event can sometimes be the difference between, oh, it took me forever to get my slimes working, and oh, now it works good and I'm having fun. And so I like to shortcut, you know, people from spending a huge amount of time on their own, combing over YouTube videos. And I mean, I'm a YouTube video maker myself, and I understand videos are helpful, but there is really something about when you see a person live demonstrate a problem and having a lot of experience seeing these problems, it can sometimes just be like a real quick, boom, I know exactly what the problem here and fix you up, and then they're good to go. Whereas, you know, they could go through the video 3, 4, 5 times, miss the same thing over and over and over, and just be lost. And I feel like community, what I try and do is I try and teach the people that are going to teach other people. So like I will take the time one-on-one with somebody that's like, I want to teach all my friends. And I'll be like, you can come hang out and I'll teach you one-on-one and give you all my knowledge that I can free, because like that takes a little, I don't want to say workload off of me, but it helps everybody do better and have more fun. And I think I mentioned it before, but like my ultimate goal is everybody has more fun so that I have more fun, because then I can have more fun and see everybody, you know, doing their thing. So it's kind of, it's a little selfish. It's a little bit selfish. Just a little bit. I want more fun.
Zrock's on the corner.
Give me more fun.
Zrock's on the corner, rubbing his arm, going, I've got my slimes on, and I'm
I need
waiting
more
for
fun.
the fun to
Gotta
come
more of
around that
fun.
corner. Yeah, I hear you.
Oh.
But yeah, that's the whole reason I kind of started this thing, was that I found it to be incredibly fun, and I was like, I want to share this. I want more people to like have this experience, because like, why not? Like, you got the VR, but you add full body to it, and suddenly, you know, you're wiggling your feet and you're just like, ooh, I'm in VR, I'm fully here. You know, in that vein, I actually just got a haptic vest recently, a B-Haptics Pro tack suit, and I actually had it hooked up to my avatar, and it can, you know, buzz on contact and things like that. It's got front and back and everything. And it's been interesting. It adds to the VR experience, not as much as Slime with the full body, but it adds, you know, a good amount. But yeah, as a kind of a VR aficionado, a VR enthusiast, you know, it's interesting. It's one of those things I didn't understand though about the haptics though, that it can be physically draining. It can have you can get withdrawals from it. Not even joking. first day I had it, I did it for 5 hours, and I took it off, and like after an hour, it had been off of my body. I was kind of like looking at it, kind of going, I kind of want to put it back on. Feels good. And then the next day, I got up and I felt trashed. Like I felt drained, like just wanted to bed rot. I had no energy. And I asked my friend about this, and he told me, because he's got a haptic suit too, and he's like, oh yeah, no, that happens. Like it's a common thing. And I'm like, huh? You can get addicted, or you can have withdrawals from a haptic vest? And like went and looked it up myself, and sure enough, it was like, oh, yeah, a common thing among users of haptic vests is feelings of withdrawal. And I was like, oh, well, time to build up my tolerance.
My God.
I have a
I
problem.
got one for
I need to solve my problem. I use it more. That'll solve my problem.
Well,
Yeah,
no, yeah,
yeah,
fix
yeah,
it.
you know, yeah,
That'll
fine.
fix it.
Fix it good.
Fix it,
good.
My God. Zrock, have you ever tried the glove system yet at all?
I have not. I want to. I actually bought a bunch of stuff DIY to build them, and I, being the multi-project person that I am, start 5-10 projects, finish one kind of person. I haven't finished that project yet, but I want to. They look really cool, and I've seen them in action. So yeah, that and face tracking. I want that too.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind having.
all that stuff.
I wouldn't mind having eye tracking, but it's a little hard with the valve index and stuff like this.
Mhm,
I've seen
mhm.
what they do to the headset. You're going, oh my God! I just added 20 pounds.
It's invasive. Yeah, it's super invasive and adds a lot of bulk and everything to it. So
Yeah,
yeah,
and I'm going, no. And I
Mhm.
know somebody that's making their own headset
hmm
and everything else. He's buying the lenses. He's trying to build. And this guy tinkers with shit all the time. He fixes things. It's just the way he is. We've talked to him before. Everything else like this. Don't mind me. I got dog here underneath my eyes. But and everything else like this. And I sat there and I just sat there and wondered, and everything else like this. This guy solders, fixes, repairs, knows his shit. And I go, dude, why aren't you coming up with something for the valve index? And he's got different headsets, and he's looking for somebody with a PlayStation 4 headset that they want to get rid of, so he can tear it apart to watch it tick.
Oh, interesting.
Oh, if he wants a PS4 PSVR, he can take my PSVR. It sits in a box in the closet.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh.
It was supposed to be so good. It was like, that was the problem, is it has good hardware.
Well,
It's
got.
I don't
it's
have the
not
newest
hard.
PlayStation one. It's the one prior, the one with the screen
Oh, that
door
one.
that's
I
like
got you.
staring.
Yeah. That one.
Like
Yeah,
staring at
he's
my
talking
slime.
the old one. He's
Yeah.
talking the only thing he wants to know is the lens setup in it. He wants to see the lenses because he's playing with blah blah blah. What the? Okay. Wow. Okay. So, and everything else like this, and watching some of the videos. Don't get me wrong. Like you say, you watch, and if you're not paying attention and stuff like this, but you think, knowing that, wow, I saw this guy put in cameras, and then he's got all this crap onto the valve and everything else, and he puts it on, and you look at it, and he's got these little cameras, right? The little cameras. I've got a couple of them and everything else. And
I
what
got
you
a
gotta-
couple too, yeah.
Yeah, and he puts them inside there, and you're going, wait a minute, if that's in front of your lens, isn't that blocking your eyesight of the lens? And I'm going, what the fuck? How? Well, hold on, let me get my eye around and turn so I can't, because it's where he had them set. It looked like it's literally in your eye passage to me.
Oh, that sounds bad. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's not don't get me wrong, it's not sticking in your eye. It's not the way it works. But when he puts it on, you can see it, and it just whoa. No, I'm not going to destroy $1,000 headset and go through this because I got nothing better to do. That's just not my thing. and
Dirty
everything else.
Raptor quits reality.
Yeah, real quick. Yeah. What happened to your headset? Well, you know that $1,000 set, I just chunked it right in the garbage.
Yeah.
Can, 'cause I
You know,
got
the
stupid.
most interesting DIY face tracking that also looks very dangerous is the one that uses lasers. Like a DIY face
Yeah,
tracking, you stick it in your headset.
ETVR, I actually have that. ETVR, there's ones that are dangerous and ones that are not. And it really does come down to using the right laser, the right IR emitter. Some of these IR emitters, people have put out stuff that will fry your eyeballs over a period of time. Like, it won't happen right away, but you're basically giving sunburn to the back of your eyes. And so getting the right IR emitters is critically important. So I can say that. ETVR did their research and they got good IR emitters, but again, don't mess around with that stuff. More powerful is not necessarily better, especially in this. When your eyes, you can get permanent eye damage from putting those in. Yeah, getting the wrong ones. So don't get the off-brand. I don't want to say, what name brands out there don't get, but, just be cautious when you're anything shining stuff into your eyes. You want to be careful. The one that I'm excited, one thing I'm excited about is hopefully soon we'll be getting a Babble, the mouth tracking. And that's very exciting to me because I know one of the developers of it, main developer, Summer. And Summer's really done an amazing job with Babble. It's honestly fantastic. Like, it has tongue movement, it has like the face moves really accurately, and pretty much I'm kind of sold on it. I'm looking forward to getting one of those soon. So you'll probably see me with that pretty soon as soon as I get one. Yeah,
How does it work?
Quit rubbing it in my face. She's over here wiggling her face like no tomorrow.
Yeah, Rose has got the Quest Pro, and that's kind of gotten me like kind of wanting that face tracking because it makes the face more lively. You can really see, it's like she's really got like all these face movements and things that are really, really good. And different avatars have different, characteristics of the face. So, yeah, I definitely feel like there's levels to that. And the main thing, like Raptor was pointing out, it just needs to not be a huge amount of gear all over your face just to get this stuff to work. It needs to be lightweight. And Babble's pretty small. I actually made a DIY Babble, my own design, my own case, everything, built the whole thing, got it all set up, and then the DIY board that I'd selected,
God.
the
Oh my God.
That is the second time this specific avatar showed up on the channel, and I've seen this so many times.
Oh my God, here it comes. Oh God, Rose. Oh my gosh.
Oh,
there we go.
Yeah, that's the hash version, the hash edits version of the avatar, because the mewing addition to that. I can tell immediately because of the mewing.
Oh yeah, the jump in this world. But yeah, I mean,
why does
face
it
tracking,
look like Rose is trying to find her teeth in the mirror? Got a piece of bark, or are they stuck in there? Can you see it?
But yeah, the funny part was I built the DIY Babble, and I get it put on, and I'm using it, and after 5 minutes, it would keep crashing. And it turns out the board I was using would get so hot it would crash. And it turned out it was like just my thermals in there weren't quite right, and I probably should just put in like a little heat sink or something into it to make it, work better. But yeah, picking the right boards and stuff for that, and having enough heat dissipation. I learned something from my experiment. But I tried it briefly, and I had, face tracking for, I could run it for 5 minutes and went in. And of course, first thing you do, you run up to the mirror and you're just like, doing all this stuff, basically. And like, what do you got face tracking for? Just, things, putting your chin out and trying to like make weird puffy cheeks and all that stuff, and It's kind of goofy. Like this is one of the funniest things about VR, and I always laugh because when we do dance events, it's kind of a joke, but like not really, and yoga as well. Of like lock your door so your family doesn't come in while you're doing like downward facing dog, or you're like throwing it back in like one of those throw it back songs that you know those songs. You know those ones.
I'm screwed. I'm out in the living room. My daughter walks by me and sees me doing stupid shit when I get my tracking going. She's just gonna shake her head and throw things at me. I just know it.
What
and I got a Nerf gun
That's
here.
fair. That's fair.
I'm gonna have a Nerf gun here.
I want to get in contact with your daughter and have her to send me periodic
Shut
pictures
up,
of
no.
what you're doing. That would be hilarious.
Fucking
Do that.
And then,
do that.
No.
And then
100%.
what we can do is then when you do stuff with him, we can have him take pictures and then do the
Yes.
Raptor in VR, Raptor in real life. It'd be great.
Yes.
Okay, I just want to
Everyone's
slap
content.
both of you just for the fuck of it because I can.
Think of the content, though, Raptor. Think of the content.
The content,
Do it for the
yeah.
content.
Hey, do it for the content, yeah. Hey, look at Raptor. He's a total ass. Look what he's doing. He can't get his head from one point to the other. Yeah, thanks, thanks, Zrock. Appreciate the help.
No, always glad to assist. I'm an idea person. I love helping with
I
ideas.
think you're getting tapped for some reason.
Yeah. What's up?
Yeah. Speaking of the topic, the first time I attended the yoga event with Slime, my entire family walked in on my on me doing the on all
pose.
fours. Yeah,
Cow
the cow
pose.
pose. Yeah,
Yeah.
The cow pose.
that was a hard one to explain.
I bet. What are you doing, young lady? Nothing.
Speaking
It was
of,
legitimately she was doing exercises, and it was for good health and good, solid, like wholesome reasons, and it just doesn't come out like that in the IRL conversion. It doesn't read well. But yeah,
No.
it's always funny because I've recorded myself and been dancing, and then had my IRL and side by side with the dancing, and then I look at it and it's just like, oh no, it doesn't translate. It doesn't. So yeah, get Dirty Raptor to do that 100%. Please. Yeah,
I
absolutely.
kind of also want to hear a story from the opposite side of someone doing yoga in VR with a mute talk mic on. How much they've had to explain what's going on wearing that thing on their face while doing yoga.
Oh, that thing is interesting. Yeah, it doesn't look very. Yeah, that's a questions come up. No, and that's the thing too. Is I know Hardcore has recently come out with a new version of their Hardcore X. Shift All came out with Hardcore X. I'm curious about it. I might want to actually get it and try it and find out because I'm interested. I want to see what they've got. Competition is good. Competition helps grow. The stuff, the technology we're working with here. We all want to get better tracking, and I want to see what everybody else is coming up with, because Slime's improving a lot, but there's always room for more improvements in every direction with FBT. Let me think if there's any other. Yeah, it's been a nice. Oh God, that nose.
Speaking of a lot of the stuff we've talked and touched about, like the tech and haptic shirts and vests and full body, I've noticed, maybe I'm going to be wrong in this statement, but the more immersed someone gets with the stuff they use, like the haptic shirt, face tracking, full body, it becomes hard to go back. Like it's like your mind and body just doesn't like going backwards.
I 100% agree with that. Although I will say, slime-wise, I've kind of settled on 6 trackers as being a good, happy level of amount of trackers where it's lightweight, they go on quick, they give me the full body I want. But on just today, I've been wearing the arm tracker, so 8 today. But I feel like there's a level where diminishing returns to a certain degree with slimes. Like once you get beyond a certain number of slimes, like I'd say like 10 is about the sweet spot, beyond about which it's like you're putting on so many slimes that it kind of takes some of the immersion away, unless you really do it right with a suit or something, or get good straps or something like that. It kind of takes away from it to a certain degree. So 10 is good, 8 is good, 6 I find is really good. Below that is no good. 5, because you don't have the hip tracker, is kind of weak. Usually I always recommend somebody that has 5 slimes. I'm like, just get another tracker for the hip. You really need it. You really do. For good tracking. But yeah, with the haptic vest, I bought the haptic vest and I was like, I'll try it and I'll see if I like it. And if I don't like it, I'll sell it. Well, day one, I was like, yeah, I'm not getting rid of it. I'm definitely not getting rid of it. It immediately improved, like, the feeling of being in VR. Somebody can pet my back and I can feel it. Even in voices and music, it thumps and it taps and it vibrates and it buzzes. I've likened it to having like a whole bunch of like purring cats angrily, happily purring on you randomly all over your body, like intensely purring.
God. Oh boy.
Oh.
But yeah, I feel like I will definitely not go back once I have mouth tracking and eye tracking. I think that'll be just kind of part of the upgrades. I do kind of want to get the haptics for the wrists and for the ankles too, because I mean, why not? Kind of getting, I got a little addicted here. Oh no.
So how long until you have so much tech on you look like one of those Star Wars clone troopers?
Oh my gosh. So Rose actually, she showed me the heart rate monitor. And so I was telling her the other day, I get up and I'm like, it feels like I'm assembling like an Iron Man. I feel like, or like Lego bodysuit or something, because it was literally like haptic suit, zip, and then I'm like, okay, I got my heart rate monitor. Okay, now I got my slimes. Get all the slimes ready. Got the arm trackers on. Okay, now we're ready for launch. Put on the HMD. And it's like I'm fully loaded. I feel like I've got like, I'm fully VR ready. But more than that, I think there's going to be a point where I'm just like, I'm good. Like, I don't know. I've been hoping that slimes could get haptics. So when you put on the slimes, you can have haptics in your slimes. And there's some development that's been done towards that, but nothing really out there yet. But that would be pretty cool, I think. Because you're already putting on slimes, why not just have buzz too, or have extensions that buzz?
I don't see it on the camera. It doesn't show up.
What does? What?
Her Rose's heart rate monitor.
Oh, it's showing up in the mirror on mine. I see it at 101 right now.
Oh.
103 here.
Yeah.
106 going.
109.
Wow, it climbs when she gets closer to you.
Oh.
Oh, it dropped.
Oh no! Oh, well, that didn't.
97, 94. It's going down. The hell? Was doing good there.
I did see someone recently. I think Fern showed a video yesterday, and when he was in his Discord server, there's like little haptic pancakes someone's made. You could put underneath your Vives. It screws in.
Yeah, he's been working on trying to put that together and getting it going. He was working on it today, and I don't think he quite got it going because there's some OSC shenanigans that he has to deal with in it. But that is something I was looking at and going, that's cool that Vives have that as an option. Like, that's neat. I kind of want that. It looked really simple to make too, just the motors and a little 3D printed part, and then it just needs the little pogo pins, and pretty simple overall. Okay.
Well,
yeah, it's been an adventure. I'm really having a good time. Thanks for having me come here, because
No
last
problem.
time we had we did a preliminary try at this interview, and my internet was just not doing well. My whole Vrchat was not doing well, and it was like every 3 minutes I was like gone and then come back in, and this one obviously way better. So I'm glad we gave it a retry, because I wasn't super happy with how that was going. It was kind of hard.
Well, thank you for giving us the time of even coming back to begin with. I know you're a really busy
Yes.
person.
Anytime.
I can't even imagine how you're going through your DMs with everything you're up to between the events and Slime and everything else.
Oh yeah, when I ping everyone in the server, they all remember I exist. So it's like kind of funny. It's almost a joke where I'll be like, okay, the event's starting, and then I get pings, I get people calling me, they're all checking me out, and I'm like, I'm right in the middle of hosting an event. I can't do it right now. But yeah, the daily DMs I go through, I wake up in the morning, I always tell Rose, I get my coffee, and then I just go through DMs and just answer a bunch of DMs, and it kind of keeps me busy because I like to help people, and sometimes it's just as easy as linking something and go, here's the link, and passing the info, and it's kind of easy. It's easy, but it's also, like my folks asked me, they were like, so how, you're never going to run out of work, are you? And I'm like, not really, because there's always new people getting slimes that need help, and people that just, would like to hang out. And there's all kinds of stuff that I like to network people. So like when people come into the slime server and they got ideas or something, I like to show them, be a little bit of a signpost, kind of point them the way towards the people that might know better. Or, like you were talking about the magnetic slimes and things like that. If you ask me in DMs, I could probably just find you a couple ideas and a couple things that I've seen along the way of people that have done stuff like that. And, it's an option. But yeah, just kind of making things easier for people. It's like, I like it.
Okay. Well, again, thank you for even giving us the time of day to coming back to begin with.
So you guys are my
Coming
friends.
back.
No worries. You're my
Coming
friends.
back.
This is great. I like hanging out with you.
Yeah. And we have a certain other gentleman that's just going to be a little disappointed because he didn't get here first, but he still did it anyhow. And it was a competition between you two. I get a kick out of it. I can't believe how much I get to go first, and then all of a sudden something else comes up. I get to go first, and it's not nothing between me. I don't have nothing to do. They just come, back and forth, and I'm going, oh, great. And I got warned by a certain person today. Goes, just you wait. I'm going to kick your ass with you and him in it.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
My freaking God. I can imagine what you two are putting your heads together and doing.
To be fair, me and this person working on that thing, it was mostly him, and I was just laughing, I'm going to say. But I did give him a few things to make it better.
Oh,
and I don't regret anything.
Yeah, I know you don't, Lion. That's what buddies are for. It's the way we work. That's just the way it goes. But it's VR. That's what's great about
for those
VR.
who are wondering, you probably will never find out.
No, it's a deep. I hope that stays not too deep, but a deep. If you get my point, deep conversation that goes nowhere.
Raptor.
So
the tactful thing would have to have not have mentioned that ever at all, and no one would ever have known. But now it's in the video.
Oh, yeah, but who cares? Let them ponder. Makes people wander.
Let them think. Let them think. Let them think.
You got it.
Speaking of thinking, where can the audience find you or Slimes or any of those locations if they wish to reach out, or the events?
Well, the SlimeVR website is now up, and it's a really good website. It has a lot of answers to all the different questions, and it has links to where to buy the official trackers, so you can always check those out. The SlimeVR Discord, if you join that, also has a marketplace forum where DIY sellers that we have a little system where they show what they're selling and, have all the details about it. So at least you know what you're getting. Plus the forums there are open. So when people come in and they have issues or they, asking questions or things like that, it's just open to people to see. It's not like, some sellers out there that are not on there that we have banned, they would, they have their own discords, and unfortunately they'll delete bad reviews or delete people's problems or things like that from their discords. And so that's kind of not a cool move. That's kind of scammy. And so, by having it open so people can see, is this seller legit? Are they responding to customers, or is there a whole list of people that are going, not happy, and so seller support matters, and you can see it in the server. SlimeVR support, we have great support staff, and warranty is really good on them, so I can kind of say that's a good choice. But again too, it's kind of a personal thing. Slimes are personal. Sometimes you want to have your own personalized set with your own stuff on it, so it's all part of the fun. Yeah.
Okay. Well, all the links for Slimes and Zrock will be in the description below.
Yeah.
You scroll down on YouTube and go to the video description, hit show more, and guest links will be one easy place for you to find. Click all the things. If you're on Spotify, it'll be in the episode description. Same place, same label. And with that said, we'll ask you, the audience, a question. And that is, what is the most interesting gaming or VR tech to you? I'd like to know. For me, the most interesting thing is actually the electro-haptic shirts. I remember seeing it a while ago, a long time ago, done by Tesla. It was a Tesla suit. But then OO shirt came out that does a similar thing. And it's actually really interesting that sends shocks to your body and you can feel touch and stuff. It's cool to me. But with that said, we'd love to read yours. Put it in the comments. We'll read all of them. And with that said, Mr. Raptor, you know the thing.
You got it. No matter what, folks, in the situations that you are, if you're moving or not moving, or you feel like Stiffy is your situation and you want to move around, go the directions that make you feel comfortable. But I got one thing. Rose, I have no freaking idea what the fuck do you put that bitch up on the wall. What I said earlier about it.
It's been here the majority of the time you guys have been recording. I put that in like 5 minutes into the video.
I got you.
Rose.
And everything else like this. But earlier when that situation went down and she put it in where we were at before, I said a certain quote, and Zrock goes, "You ass." And it wasn't me, it was towards you. And I say thank you again, Rose, for showing up and appreciate your time. And you too, Zrock. And folks, we'll see you next time when everything moves. Bye. We'll talk to you later.
That's not the camera. It's directly in front of you.
I can't see the bitch. All I see is that one. You jackass.
God damn it, Raptor! Come on.
Oh, I thought it was right
But
there.
yeah.
God damn, this box drives. Left turn. Take another left turn. And another left turn. I'm doing a circle jerk. Whoops. I shouldn't have said that out loud. What the hell? Whee! Come here, box. Let's move. Nice.